It's Monday night special, I guess. We're doing these now that Scott Davis is not doing his Monday night roundups anymore. We decided that we'll push the show to 8 o'clock Eastern time, and here I am, and here's Ben from Denver.
Hey.
What's going on, Ben? Thanks for coming back.
Absolutely. I'm always around Monday nights.
Awesome, man. And our special guest tonight is Cameron from you're from Richmond, right? Virginia?
Yeah, Richmond, Virginia.
Awesome, dude. And what's before we get into how you get into West Ham and all that, like what's the scene down there like? Is there any other Hammers down in the area?
There's I've met about probably 5 or 6 other of us in Richmond.
Nice.
There's few and far between. There's one guy that runs a curry cart who's pretty much my favorite person ever because he's got like a Forever Bowen poster in the back of the curry cart.
That's awesome.
Barry, and he's a great food, and B, like pretty much after every match, he's always at breweries and stuff, kind of serving up food and everything, and I'll go in wet full kit and everything, and kind of just go and eat some curry, hang out with him, talk trash about Tottenham and everything. So
that's awesome.
Nice.
That's cool. So, so there's no organized group down there, or is there? So I thought there was at some point.
There's Virginia Hammers, which is mostly based out of Charlottesville.
Oh, that's like Southern, right?
It's where I grew up and everything. So, like my dad goes up to, I think it's Cardinal Hall there, and watches the matches with them every once in a while and everything. But it's probably not as we talk a lot on Facebook and everything, but it's probably not as organized with everybody kind of coming together to watch the matches together.
Well, if you talk to those guys, you need to tell them that we're an actual YouTube show. They were one of the first groups I reached out to, and they were so rude to me, man. I'm telling you. They were like,
man, I'm sorry to hear that.
They're like, who are you? Like, what is this? Like, no, I'm not interested at all. And I'm like, are you serious? Out of all the groups, I swear to God, in this whole country, he was like, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about. I'll ask around. We'll think about it. Never heard of Peep. So anyway, would love to have them on the show. We see the whole mission of this show from day one was to just showcase the American West Ham supporters groups first and foremost, and then secondly, American West Ham supporters, so that we can kind of unite them and say, hey, listen, if there isn't a group in your area, start a group, and if there is one, get over there. Here's what they're like. They're cool people. Just hang out with them. Now you said like there's five or six or so in your area in particular. That's a group, man. Anything more than 3 people is technically a group. I mean, that's a great starting point. But is it a matter of like everybody's got their own lives? It's just
it's hard because pretty much everybody I've met has been like kind of hospitality service industry. So we're all generally working on the weekends. Like it's a rare day where I'm actually off on a match day. Personally, I love the 7 a.m. matches because that means I can go up to the pub and kind of hang out with the guys and everything and grab a beer or two and everything and go home and take a nap before I have to go to work.
Nice. It's a way to do it.
So Ben, like you for example, you hang out with the Mile High Hammers. Kind of talk this guy into starting this group and tell him what that experience is like out there in Denver.
So we actually got a pretty decent crowd. We probably average, I would say we average 7 to 10 people on a weekend. If it's like an early, like if it's the 5:30, which 7:30 Eastern time, it's 5:30 for us.
Yeah,
like the week one, that was tough. But we had a good turnout because it was week one. So, but it's cool. I mean, it's we got a WhatsApp chat too, so we can all talk to each other during the week. And we kind of it started very organically. It was like I met somebody and he said, "Oh, hey, we got this chat," and we kind of built it really slowly. And what's great about in Denver is we're all kind of pretty close together. So yeah, I mean, if you guys can hook up and start something, I totally recommend it because it's really brought a lot of people together from all different kind of age ranges and everything. I mean, it's all over the world, really.
That's the overall consensus, man. Is that it's a family. It's a new family, and it just grows. It doesn't really dissipate. So let's start, I guess, with how on earth did you get into West Ham?
Well, so that's what I was about to say is for me, it is a family thing. My dad grew up in Bromley in Kent, kind of
Nice.
Southeast London and everything, and kind of grew up where he was young when England won the World Cup with the squad there and everything. And kind of just grew up during that kind of like 70s, late 60s, 70s, 80s era West Ham, where it was really something and it was something special and everything. So he started supporting West Ham, even though it was technically a little outside of his neighborhood, but he just kind of kept with it and everything. And he's the reason I'm a Hammer. And most days on match days and everything, it's my brother, my dad, and I kind of on our own little group chat together, just texting back and forth. So yeah.
So how's that been so far this season? How's that chat been this so far this season?
Opinionated and a little rough at times, and we don't always agree on everything. But this past weekend was it took us 2 weeks to get a point instead of 6 this year. So progress.
That's what Ben was saying before we got on. Well, actually, before you popped on too. Man, I guess leading into the first match of the season, there was a Hammers poll, which we'll get into later on, that actually said, okay, out of the first 4 matches, and it listed them, said City and so on, and Brighton and Watford and Norwich. How many points or how many wins will you think we'll get, or how many points you think we'll get? And I don't think anybody said less than 2 wins. You know what I mean? But we still got Watford and Norwich, but Norwich looks scary, man. I thought that.
Do look
good. The game with what was it, Newcastle?
Yeah. Well, even the match against Liverpool, I mean, for their first match, man, and yes, they did get like the score sheet. I mean, the scoreline says something different, but if you actually watch that match, which I did, like they look good. I mean, they look they took Liverpool out wide. I mean, they just played their way and wasn't trying to change their match. I mean, that's the reason why they lost. But at the same time, they put it to them, man, and that's what they did in Championship, and that's why they got promoted. So
yeah.
But Watford scares me. Watford always scares me, even though we smoked them at the end of last season. We don't usually always smoke them. Usually they cause us problems.
And we got to go to
I was seeing on Twitter and everything that they had the whole like, oh, well, Watford's lost their last 5 matches, and which
throw that out the window.
West Ham loves to break stats like that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like finishing the season with 3 wins and heading into a new season and starting all over again.
Starting with a dud.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think, man? What do you think the problem is? What do you think the problem is so far? You think it's fitness, effort, just line? There you go. Line up. What?
I would say leadership. Personally.
There you go.
So from what it seems like with all the news coming out of kind of the club and everything between Claret and Hugh and X and all them and everything, is it seems like you've got Noble, Snodgrass, and Zavaleta are the core leaders of the squad. And right now we've only seen one of them play in Snodgrass, which, I mean, say what you want about his pace and everything, but he's a grafter and he puts in a shift and everything.
Yes.
And Noble's the same way, where we look better with Noble on the pitch. That it proved true all of last season. And if you don't have Noble, personally, I think we need to have both Snodgrass and Zavaleta to make up for that leadership. But
well, you didn't like Ogbonna? That didn't move the needle for you?
No.
Oh God, I know. I couldn't listen. Sorry,
I couldn't resist.
Let's start with you, Ben. Well, what did you think about the team sheet when it was announced before kickoff? What were your initial thoughts when you saw the team sheet? And go through not just the bottom, but go through the whole thing there. What do you think?
My first thought was immediate reaction was, I guess I like that he's shaking it up and that he's not, Pellegrini's not beholden to one, like, I'm just going to run this team back out there. He's still trying to find the best 11. So my initial reaction of he's shaking it up, okay, maybe that's a good thing. But then you look at the details and you see, okay, Ogbonna with the armband, which say what you will, that didn't make any sense. No Balbuena, which it wasn't clear to me. Was he hurt like at the last second, or did he just not get the start?
From what I've seen, it was a squad change trying to find a right-left partnership.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the lack of Balbuena. That really didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Yeah.
Personally, I'd almost rather see Ogbonna and Balbuena than Ogbonna and Diop, because Balbuena seems more disciplined between him and Diop.
Totally.
Correct.
I
like
totally agree.
They don't mesh. Did we not remember last season when Balbuena was injured and we had Ogbonna and Diop, and how miserable that was to watch?
Bad.
Yeah, I mean, Diop's worst performances of last season were paired up with Ogbonna.
They both like to push forward, but they don't seem to be like in sync with one another, and one push forward, one pulls back, and they don't seem to have that connection that you see in a lot of Premier League defenses at this point, where the two center backs, if they're playing a back four and everything, are in sync with one another and kind of move as one.
Yeah. What else did you think, Ben? I mean, what couldn't have just been that?
I obviously Haller and Anderson, right? We knew that was going to happen.
We knew that was coming,
but that's still, that doesn't make me feel good.
But what about Chicharito up top by himself? What about that one?
I am a Chicharito homer, so I love that guy. I think, he's a poacher. So if you can get guys that put good service in, and I want to talk about, actually, that kind of leads into my next point. But I think if you can do that with Chicha, that's what he's there for. And he did it. I mean, his goal was a little cheapo, but I like the Chicha move. And then the other one, the big one for me was Masuaku, putting him in there. That was kind of not totally surprising given the lack of Anderson, but it worked, I guess. It kind of worked. So overall, I thought it was an interesting choice.
What about you, Cameron? What did you think about the team sheet when it first came out?
I was willing to give it a shot. It wasn't my ideal team sheet, especially changing up the defense like that. I think Diop and Balbuena last season were our best partnership, and I think it's something that needs to be fostered and grown and developed. And kind of doing this whole maybe Ogbonna thing is kind of just not working. Because it keeps just interrupting that rhythm and kind of the ability to build that partnership and everything. So I wasn't sure about that one. Full disclosure, I'm a huge Masuaku fan. I think he gets a lot of stick that is not necessarily deserved. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but there's I forget who it was with the West Ham Twitter sphere, but he kind of did a in-depth look at the stats versus A, Cresswell, and B, the rest of the league as far as left backs, and Walker was actually not bad at all, if not like in the top 5 for most of the stat categories, including the defensive ones.
Yeah.
Which I think says a lot for him, and I think he gets a little bit unwarranted because it is a weaker side, and Anderson's not the best at tracking back. I think he's a little bit better than people give him credit for, but he's not a defender, and he's thinking about going forward, and he's not going to be doing Masuaku any favors, really. So that being said, losing Anderson and Haller in a game against Brighton where they've got 3 6'4" center backs was a big loss.
And Lurch, Dan Burns, guys like fucking 8 feet tall.
And in fact, going into the match, Chicharito on the team sheet and everything, I didn't mind that. I like Chicharito. I think he serves a very good purpose, and when he gets the proper service and everything, he does fine, and he scores goals for us.
Yeah, you know what, man?
That being said, it seemed like the strategy was trying to ping balls from Fabianski over the top to Chicharito, who's like 5'2".
What about the other 9 guys?
Guys that are like literally have a foot on him, and that was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
The one goal we scored, we played a through ball on the ground, and lo and behold, he used his pace, beat them out, and scored.
Yep.
Shock.
Yeah.
That's his game.
Well, when I saw the team sheet, I had a migraine, splitting migraine. So I was
Before
happy.
or after?
During the whole thing. I mean, the game was somewhat of a vague, and it just frustrated me to watch that. But mainly because I saw the team sheet, and I said, you know what? If anybody is going to be giving Chicharito service, it is the gentleman right behind him, and that's Fornals. Then you had Wilshire, and I felt that would have been, what he would have needed to do well. But the whole first half, it was nothing. There was no service whatsoever.
Wilshire looked bad.
Wilshire, yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I can't say he looked great. Yeah, no, you're right. But the Ogbonna thing didn't really bother me. I think the reason why he got the armband was because of tenure, maybe. If you think about it, I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense, really.
Yeah.
Because I would have given it to Snodgrass or someone, but Snodgrass hasn't played enough. Well, neither has Ogbonna, so what the hell? I don't know. But I was glad to see Masuaku back. Because I do think he is our best left back. I mean, it doesn't say a whole hell of a lot, but at the same time, no, he's definitely, I think, our best left back. So I can't believe we didn't beat Brighton, and not only that, we should have lost to Brighton. I mean, if there wasn't VAR, I mean, we would have lost that match.
VAR's the MVP yet again.
Son of a bitch, that goal, that could have gone either way, man. I mean, that was a close call. To be honest with you,
I will say when I saw the first replay, I audibly said that should be called back.
I didn't. I said,
I was
motherfucker,
Fabianski. That it was.
I was ripping on Fabianski like I always do, because he doesn't. He gets too much credit for the saves, but he doesn't get held accountable by our fan base for all the goals he lets in. The stupid this out of positioning, the stupid simple mistakes that he makes to let the easy ones in. He should have been saved anyway. That's beside the point. I'm not going to do my rant tonight for Fabianski. I'm so bored of it, ranting about him.
I watched one last night, and I did most of it.
I know. I mean, it's just think about this. It's half serious. When I do my rants, it's half serious. I mean, I hope people don't take me 100% seriously.
I feel like his and somebody said it last night that his positioning is sometimes fairly questionable, and I think that true. There's a lot of saves that he makes look much harder than they actually are.
Yes,
and it's like photo finish saves
because he was out of position. Yeah. But whatever. I mean, whatever. Bottom line is we nicked the point and we're off to Watford.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been a lot better, but you know what? Brighton, they're playing for their manager, man. I mean, they're not the best team, but they're playing for their manager. They got 4 points already in their first 2 matches. That's sad. I predicted them rock bottom. I predicted at the beginning of the season I had them the bottom of my table. I said, no, they're going down, man. But no, Grant Potter, man, he's doing something right over there.
It happened.
So we're talking about the defense and everything. Just to pose a question to you,
sure.
Sorry to kind of take over for a second. Would you rather have our back 4 or their back 3?
Ooh. I love Dan Burn, man. I always have. Are you talking about Watford or are you talking about Brighton?
Brighton.
All right, Brighton. Yeah, no, I love Dan Burn's one of my favorite defenders ever. You'll learn. I mean, if you ever learn anything about me, it's I always gravitate towards defenders as my favorite players. So everybody get prepared. I got to get my banner up. Hold on 1 second. James Tompkins is my favorite player of all time, and so
not laughing at you.
Drink. There you go. Everybody drink in the chat room. Yeah, so I love Skirtle and Agger. I mean, I love defenders, man. You know what I mean? I just love defenders. So those are my favorite players of all time. But anyway, when it comes down to Dan Burn, just he ticks all the boxes for me, man. I don't understand why he's not on a better club, bigger club. I don't know what the problem is. So anyway, I don't know. It's tough. I would say our defense is shit. So I'd have to go with Brighton, dude.
Yeah. Based on the body of work so far.
Yeah, so far. Right.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I really truly do love Diop and Balbuena, and I think over time they'll be the better choice.
Yeah.
Right now, got to go with Brighton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, last night we had you were watching. You said we had a Hammers poll that we did. It said something about going into the next match. Would you go 3 in the back? Would you be sad? I mean, like basically, I'm assuming that they meant with
3
backs or something like that, because I can't picture putting Diop, Balbuena, and Ogbonna just together in a straight 3-5-2. But with wing backs, maybe, I don't know, or throw Rice down there with throw him in the mix because he was center back. I don't know. What do you guys think?
With Frederick?
I think that's the only way it would work is if you pull Rice back further to be a center back. But that puts more pressure on our midfield where we've been kind of lacking already. I don't know how to play a back 3 or back 5 and still have the offense that we're all wanting us to have, where you have Anderson in the mix, Fornals in the mix, Lanzini in the mix, Wilshire in the mix, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but that ain't working either. I mean, like you were saying earlier, what's up? We need Noble back. It's so bizarre. I can't believe I'm saying this. I mean, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't believe I'm not saying this. The beginning of the season, before the season started, we were looking at everybody that was signed. We looked at all the attacking additions and everybody being healthy, or attacking options being healthy this year. And we're like, you know what? Where does Noble fit in? He doesn't. Let's keep him out until he's needed, I guess.
Injury.
But at the same time, I'm like, damn it, we could have used him against City. We could have used him against, it's tough. But at the same time, I mean, the attacking options we have either A, aren't as good as we think they are, or B, they're just not playing the right system, or the system that Pellegrini is telling them to play, or they're just not fit, or they just don't give a shit. I don't know. Like, what is it?
I think right now it's hard to judge just based off of 2 matches, personally. I mean, so we had one match where Fornals was on the bench, and
that blew my mind.
And I mean, I think the reason shows with the Brighton game where he seemed like he still needs time to adjust, and he was a little bit out of his depth, kind of at times, and trying to get used to the kind of speed of play and the physicality and everything. But we got absolutely trounced by City, as literally everybody was expecting. I think there's a lot of people that were being overly optimistic with us.
What about you, Ben?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I kind of agree, right? You can't put too much stock into 2 matches, right? I mean, I was reading today, Fornals is still getting up to speed with the Premier League. Like, that's, I get that. Not having Haller, not having the biggest guy in the squad, that's kind of a setback too. So I think without those 2, without Haller and Anderson, and with Fornals still trying to put it all together, and Ajeti, I don't even know what the heck that guy's deal is.
Yeah.
But if you can get those guys in the mix and get some time under them, I don't want to put too much. I mean, this is like same shit, different day, right? Last year they didn't win until September, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, we're looking at, okay, let's put this in perspective. You can't take too much about the first 2 games. You can't put too much stock in the first 2 matches. But at the same time, Brighton and Bournemouth both have 4 points in 2 matches. Sure. Now they're gonna be looking at that at the end of the season. They're gonna say, you know what, we stayed up because we started strong.
True.
You know what I mean? Those are 2 teams that I literally both those teams I had in the bottom 3 in my predictions for this season. And then Sheffield's got 4 points as well. So if those teams can win, and I mean, they didn't just play slubs either. I mean, Brighton played us, obviously, and Who the hell did Bournemouth beat?
Southampton, maybe.
Shit. They beat Villa and Sheffield. Okay, well, never mind. That's them. But Sheffield beat Palace, and that's nothing major. I mean, even Norwich has a win. I mean, look, we have 1 point.
Got one more than Newcastle.
Come on. I know, one more than Newcastle, Villa, Southampton, and Watford. I know.
Newcastle sucks.
But we can't afford to have another 0-4 season. I mean, 0-4 start. So, yes, every match should count, dude. Right? Dudes, right?
True. I'm trying to be positive.
I know you guys are. But at the same time, I bet you guys are also the two of the guys were saying, oh, it was City. I mean, we weren't going to beat them anyway. Well, we should be beating every fucking team, right? I mean, that should be our mentality, especially with the amount of money we've been spending lately, right? The last couple of seasons, we should be beating them. We almost beat City last year. If that wasn't for that bullshit call.
Being in the hunt, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we almost beat Liverpool. We actually beat Liverpool, right? Yeah. But they that stupid offsides call. Remember saying so?
VAR would have had that one back. I remember Pellegrini going like this to Klopp. He's like, "You took 2 points from us today."
Pretty much
took 2 points. So, yeah, I mean, it's. I think I want to just be like, let's be patient.
This year. So
I know. I don't know.
I'm saying. So what's up?
So did you guys see the video of the chant at the Brighton game with the VAR chant?
No. What was it?
VAR, my lord. It was prime West Ham banter, but I mean, I think it's going to be. Everybody kind of has their opinions on VAR and everything, but I think that given the last 2 seasons, West Ham's been a team that's been pretty hard done by really shitty calls, and if VAR is what it takes for us to at least get a fair shake, I may not like it in the long run, but I don't mind it.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening to a few different podcasts this morning, and everybody's calling for VR to go away again. Just because of the fact that it's still going through growing pains. You know what I mean? And actually, West Ham Fan TV, who's in here right now, I was watching actually.
Yeah, I just saw that. You're like, hey guys, love you guys.
I was watching the post-match pint this morning on my way to work, and listening to it anyway. I wasn't watching it and driving, I swear. But no, they made a good point about the Brighton didn't even have like checking goal or checking offside or check on the main screen. I mean, there's so many issues with the VAR already. I mean, it's taking too long. It is taking too long, and we're not getting all the results in. We're only getting the ones that are overturned. We're not getting ones that aren't what they're actually looking at. You know what I'm saying? And they made a great point about Championship, League One, League Two. I mean, they should have VAR too, because there are clubs down there that life or death for them. I mean, look at Bolton and Bury, like they had mentioned on their show. But those are 2 clubs that are pretty much on the brink of death. You know what I mean? And there's also other clubs that are looking at bouncing out of the football league. And once you go out of the football league, I mean, it's so hard to get back in because only 2 teams get promoted back into the league. So basically there's 1 champion and then there's 4 fighting for playoffs. So, I mean, fighting the playoffs. So it should be across the board. You know what I mean? If they're going to do it, they should, the champion, basically the EFL should invest 100%. In VAR if they're going to do it, and also the Premier League should get their shit together and not just throw it out there and not have it be uniform across all the clubs. Like if you're gonna stop the game for that, or if you're gonna check something, let everybody know what the hell you're doing, because the Brighton fans, when that the goal was scored, they celebrated. They were all drinking. I mean, they were all having a great time. Nothing went up on the screen saying that they were checking for offsides. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's bullshit.
Yeah, so, it's hard. You can't put it back in the box though, right? You open the box. It's now out in the world. I don't see how you can go back and say, you know what, we fucked up. We're not going to do this anymore. I don't know. But it needs to be done better. It needs to be done faster, and it needs to be done more efficiently. and it's got to be at least to the go down to the championship, I think, at a minimum. Because like to Tim's point, I mean, it's life or death with some of these teams, and it needs to be done better. But I think you can't expect it to be perfect to start. I mean, how long ago did they put? I know this is kind of an American analogy, but they just started doing basically reviews in baseball, and that was a big. Everybody was like, "What the fuck?" And now it's kind of gotten better, and people are like, "Okay, it is what it is." So I think give it some time, and I think they'll iron it out.
Yeah.
I think that the funny thing is that did you guys see the kind of the ruling on it where all the stadiums that have screens for the fans and everything will be displaying the kind of the decision-making process on
checking VAR,
except for 2 stadiums.
No.
And that's Anfield and Old Trafford.
Yeah. Ha!
No.
Yeah. Well, that yeah. I'm not even gonna fucking get upset about that. Because I will. Jesus Christ. All right. Just want to check in with the chat room. Looks like Nikki from West Ham Fan TV is the one that's in there. What's up, Nikki? Thanks for watching. Would love to talk to you soon, my man. So we got Gaz from American Hammers TV's in there. He does our full time with Gaz and Selly, our post-match show, and also he's a co-host from time to time. And once FIFA 20 comes out, he's going to be playing our subscribers on our channel for once that comes out. But it's not going to come out until September, I believe, or something like that. Looks like PJ from Kansas City's in there. MXM mode. It looks like, that's my son. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm like, wait a minute.
Who is it? Oh.
That's my son. What's up, man?
Who the hell are you?
Wally, Wally was there in Vegas. He said he had a great time. You get to meet X and Dave from West Ham Way. They were out and about over there. And we got Neil from South Australia. He's there every single episode, it seems, no matter what time of day it is. I appreciate it. And I know there was a couple others that popped in. Now, John Nolan. What's up, John? And who else we got in here today? Oh, TJ Cooney Jr., man. Dude, we got to get you on the show somehow, man. I sent you a message saying, email me, AmericanHammersTV@gmail.com. Not just that. I'm going to stop here for a second before I continue because I'm going to forget. If anybody wants to be part of the American Hammers Network, whether you want to do a podcast on our American Hammers Radio, or if you want to do something on American Hammers TV to help us fill our content, please email me or message us on all of our social media accounts. I have access to all of our social media accounts, and also AmericanHammersTV@gmail.com. And let me know what you want to do. And we'll try to give you the forum to be able to do whatever you want to do, so long as it's West Ham related. You know what I mean? That's what this is all about. So that's that. Richard Walton, he's in the chat room. B. Hoff, he's been watching our shows a lot lately. I appreciate that, brother. And I think there was one more, and I'm wrong. That's just StreamYard at the bot. So, Scott Davis. Hey, what's up, Scott? So yeah. That's the chat room for you. We have a lot of people in here every single night, which is awesome. I really appreciate it. And we have a lot of content on the way. We have a lot more interviews on the way. Our Matt Etherington interview got postponed for a couple of weeks, so we got that. And in the meantime, we were able to pull off, as I was looking for a replacement, I was able to get Kevin Keane, who's currently with the Academy, West Ham Academy, and he wants to do a show in the following week after the first. So it'll be the 7th. So that'll be great. So that ended up working out, even though we didn't have him this weekend. What else we got going on? Bunch of podcasts are in the works. They are recording their first episodes. There's a couple new shows recording their first episodes. One of them is recording tonight. Next one's recording it tomorrow night. And then there's another show recording on Wednesday, like our flagship show, with Kyle from Fresno and what's his name? Zach from Maryland. So a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff going on. And also I forgot to mention our sponsor in the beginning. just so exhausted from work. Drinkwaredesign.com makes these fancy, they're just really durable and awesome mugs, I'm telling you. But you can have any logo you want. You can get your own supporters club logo on there. Whatever you want, really. They also engrave.
Goes a long way.
Yeah, and one of the dudes that runs the thing is a hammer out of Plano, Texas. So, show him some support, man. And they do flasks. They engrave flasks and also those metal sports drink bottles or whatever. They engrave those as well with your logos on it. So that's kind of cool. And what else? Scarves. Please buy a scarf. Our pre-order is almost complete. We need to sell a few more. Just go to our website, AmericanHammersTV.us, and buy yourself a scarf so that we can get closer to our to ending our pre-order, and we can start printing those things and shipping them out. And they're made by Roughneck Scarves, so they're super high quality.
We've actually Mile High Hammers. We've got a couple of theirs, or I think we got one of theirs. Yeah, they make great scarves. They ship them real nice. I mean, Gina, who's our team leader or club leader, she set it up. But they make great stuff. Highly recommend. Great for the wintertime, especially here in Denver where it gets cold.
Yeah, well, it gets cold up here in Boston too.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I actually ended up going to culinary school in Vermont, so know all about that.
So you like the CBD oil? No, just kidding. My original sponsor was a Stravacraft Coffee. They hemp infused, organically infused with hemp oil and coffee, which was awesome until they just stopped sending me coffee, which sucks. I'm fiending for it, but no, Vermont's got good weed, so that's why I was saying that. But sure, you don't do it.
Not anymore.
That's college, right? That's not how I do it.
Yeah.
Let's pull up some news items if I can figure this out. Since I usually have someone do this for me, I feel like I'm doing all the work again here. Here we go. You guys see that? Oh yeah, you can. Well, it looks like West Ham's set to hand Manuel Lanzini a new contract after he started the season well. You think it's for real? You think it's really going to happen? You think he deserves one? Let's start with Cameron.
I think coming back from the injury and everything, and kind of how he did at the end of the season last year, he started slow and everything, but I think the final match or two, he kind of started to show like flashes of his old self and everything, and that was kind of enough for me-ish. How he started out this year, I mean, he's definitely kind of, I think between watching him, Anderson, and Fornals kind of go back and forth during preseason with the attacking play and everything I was giddy over that. Like, it was gorgeous. Like, it was so much fun to watch. And that's what I hope we're moving towards. It's just, can we do that in the Premier League with those three and the striker on the pitch at the same time is the real question without sacrificing our defense. Because I have my pauses about that. I mean, against some of the lesser sides, like against a team like Burnley, where we need to find a way to break down their defense because they've also got a whole bunch of really big defenders, and we need to play it on the ground to get around them and get it to the goal. I think it could work. Burnley's not the strongest side attacking-wise and everything. But can we do that against Liverpool? God, no.
I don't think anybody can do that against Liverpool.
Yeah. What do you think, Ben? I mean, you think he? Here's my thing, and I want you to, reply. But don't we usually have bad luck handing out contracts? I mean, doesn't someone either A, usually get injured, or B, they get sold, or move on? Or they just underperform. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? You think he's deserving, and you think it's just a bad omen to be handing him a contract? I mean, he just came back from injury last season, and
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that if he's healthy, right? If both sides of this deal, a potential deal, are healthy, then thanks, Gina. If both sides agree that he's healthy, then I think he's due for a new deal. I mean, I think he's in the time that he's played, he's been great. I don't know if they double his wages and he becomes this big albatross, if he gets hurt and it's like, oh, here we go all over again with this, the injury bug. But
yeah.
again, it's all about if you can prove that he's fit. I know that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, he can go out and get hit by a bus. God forbid, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. But there's a certain inherent amount of risk, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And maybe with a guy like him, you can stomach the added risk of him potentially having a bit of an injury history. But I think his talent is top notch, and I think if you can lock a guy down like that, you probably got to do it. That's what I think.
So how many years is left on his contract right now? Does anybody know?
I think he signed a 4-year deal in 2016, so I think he's got one more after this.
That's what I thought. Yeah, more.
At this point, it's either he goes on a free or we sign him a new contract and we get money for him.
And then ship them out.
Personally, I think getting another 2 or 3 year contract out of him would be worth it. If nothing else, but for the transfer fee, because we kind of paid peanuts for him. So
I got him from Saudi Arabia, I think, right?
Yeah.
My whole point, guys, is that look, it makes sense. We should sign him. We should give him the money. I mean, when he's on, he's on. That's the type of player that we want in our club. Yes, I agree. But I'm just saying that our history, our luck, or lack thereof, when it comes down, or the West Ham way, when it comes down to putting money into players, it usually doesn't work out for us. Especially re-signing players or giving them contracts, with the exception of Declan. I mean, I don't know. So far, yeah. Well, that's true, but I'm just saying, I don't want him to get hurt again. Is my biggest fear, especially since he does have, a serious injury in his.
It was his knee, right? Was it his ACL?
One of the ligaments
in his knee?
MCL. Yeah, one of the two. It was an MCL or ACL. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, give him the money, sign him.
Yeah,
hopefully international football. You got to do what you got to do.
Just like anybody else, though, in our club, I hope that he starts, earning it. That's all. I mean, because that's the biggest thing, is that nobody in the club really looks like they're, earning their money right now. I don't know. No one's really standing out saying that, oh, yeah, though, they played an amazing 90 minutes, 180 minutes these last 2 matches, But whatever. We'll move on to the next item. The next item would be we saw something earlier, Ben. I forgot what we were talking about beforehand.
Yarmolenko and Sanchez, that one.
Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ. And this is from the club. This is a press release from WestHamUnitedFC.com.
I guess Pellegrini had to say about that.
Yarmolenko and Sanchez will be important players for us, says Pellegrini. What the fuck is he talking about?
Go ahead, Cameron. You take it away.
Has he finally lost the plot? Is that what's going on?
No, I think that's the oh, you're cute, go play outside kind of press release. I think it's. I like his attitude. I like how pretty much he seems to be about the club and everything, and how he kind of seems to fit in with the team. I don't think he's going to be the strongest player in the world for us. I think we've got other better, stronger people in that position. Speaking of people that got new contracts and whether they're worth their value, Antonio is finally coming back into his own and is starting to earn his money again. The game against Brighton completely changed when he went on the pitch.
Yep.
So I think there's a real tough spot in that kind of right-wing position between the two of them. Yarmolenko's talented. I think he could very well be a super sub for us. I just don't see him as a kind of starting position.
Yeah.
Sanchez, I think, has gotten a bit of a rough deal. Between the injury and kind of a couple mistakes that were very key and everything, he doesn't look the greatest. I'll be honest about that. I will say that since his new haircut, he's looked much better.
Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot. Look, between Sanchez and Fredericks, I mean, those are two players right there that we pulled from championship clubs. That sure, Fulham got promoted and we yanked him before he was able to play with them in the Premier League. But I mean, that's another story. I'm sorry. Tim loves to rant about Fredericks, so I'm going to stay away from that. But Sanchez, dude, he didn't even play that well for Villa, man. You know what I mean? Like, he had a great fucking time with Colombia. But again, international football is a whole nother animal. It's like futsal and soccer. You know what I mean? It's like, it's two different things, man. In international football, I mean, you're talking about, there's no team cohesion. There's superstars mixed with, superstars from all over the world playing against other superstars from all over the world. You can't really, I don't know. It's a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? It really is. So when someone does well in one of those competitions, I really don't give a shit. I really don't. It doesn't do anything for me. I mean, now him playing for Villa in championship and not performing, like being one of the top players on the team or the squad, that does something for me. That tells me, why the fuck did we sign him? Yeah. Right?
It's a little disturbing. Yeah, I agree.
What do you? I mean,
it was
what
a
do you think?
Pellegrini move, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Did? Yeah. So that's a little shocking, actually. Scary.
He loves his South American football, man. I mean, that's what it is. But I don't know. What do you think, Cameron?
Personally, I don't know if it was a Pellegrini move, because that was like right as he was coming in. He was like pretty much one of the first one or two signings that Pellegrini brought in, which means the transfer probably started a fair bit before that. So he may have taken ownership out of necessity, if nothing else. But I don't know if that was a knee-jerk, like, let's get somebody in with the new manager thing, or...
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the last two games of preseason and kind of when he came on against Brighton, he didn't do anything wrong, per se. He wasn't a standout. I mean, he scored the goal, and like that one goal and everything, I think. Or it was the assist, right? But I mean,
he scored a goal. Yeah, I know he scored a goal this preseason. I think we really ended. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still. I mean, we're stuck with them. No one's going to take them from us. So
they only signed a 2-year deal, right? I think it was 2 years. So
sorry to interrupt. Just to go back up, I do want to say one thing. I'm super proud of Diangana for coming out and kind of just really making a statement of intent with West Brom and just coming on at halftime and knocking in 2 goals in 6 minutes.
Yep.
I think he's definitely one for the future for us, and I think we need to make sure he doesn't go anywhere permanently, because he does show the signs that if he bulks up a little bit and gets that confidence and gets that kind of scoring touch while he's on loan and everything, I think
he definitely gets that.
Absolutely massive for us.
And championship, he couldn't pick. I mean, there couldn't be a better place for him than championship. That league that'll test him. That'll test him to the T, man. That's a brutal league. Same thing with Josh Cullen, though, man. Now that he helped Charlton get promoted. Now he's playing for Charlton. I mean, that's a tough league, and that's the perfect place to show, do we still need them or not? Not League One, not League Two. I mean, championship. That's beautiful. I'm so happy for them. And yes, to see Diangana actually score multiple goals, that's starting to prove me wrong, because I thought he was the biggest dud of the year last year. Absolutely. The guy did absolutely nothing but move. He moved around. I mean, he was deceiving. Yes, fantastic. Gave the ball away. made poor, shot decisions. I mean, the guy just was not. He wasn't anything special. He didn't score any goals. I mean, barely any goals. So he wasn't impressive whatsoever. In my eyes. So I felt that yes, this is perfect for him. And he's got Dix as an assistant manager down there now. He's got Super Slav. I mean, Village, yeah, my favorite. Fucking asshole, sold Tompkins, but I'll never forgive him for that. But anyway, it's good for him. And yes, we'll find out for sure if he can. Not only can he perform, but can he handle a season that long?
Yep.
When that brutal pressure, and will he stay healthy? Not saying he has any injury issues, but could it appear? We'll find out how tough the kid is.
And
sure.
I think West Brom's going to be one of the contenders to come back up this season.
Easily.
So, I mean, because they lost a couple players through the relegation and everything, but overall they kept a fairly consistent team with people that kind of just stuck in with it. So, I mean, they have a mostly Premier League quality side. It's just, I think they could make their way back up, and I'd be happy to see them do so if we get Diangon back.
Yeah. Don't want to have him play us. No, because he'll just go off.
Yeah. I do want to mention real quick that I intend to bring on Gary from South Carolina and Wally World, this gentleman right here, to come on the show, even if it's like 20 or 30 minutes or so, and discuss their time in Vegas. We really want to hear, from our friends, people who were there, that have been on our show as guests, what the experience was like. And yeah, I've been overbooking so much stuff lately. It's out of control. And then leaving myself open for I had like 2 shows last week that didn't even have anybody because I double booked, this upcoming week. So anyway, for those looking forward to that, we'll try to figure it out. Maybe Thursday, but Wednesday I got 2 guests on because again, like I said, I double booked. I got a lot going on, guys. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Just give you some rundown on what's coming up on the channel. 8/25. All right, that's this week. Great. All right, so we got Chris Pacey from Houston. That's the Bayou Ironworks. And John Nolan from Philadelphia. So we got 2 guests on. We're gonna, I guess that's Wayne and Lee. We'll be doing that interview.
Nice.
I have Eric Albertson from Michigan. Michigan's one that we haven't had yet, so that'll be awesome. That'll be on Thursday with Justin, my co-host from Chicago, and hopefully that night I will block some time open for Wally and Gary to come on. Otherwise, actually, I don't have anybody booked for Sunday night. So, hey, if you guys want to do next Sunday night, there we go. Week late, but I don't know. Whatever. I got a lot of shows coming up. So that's
trying to convince my dad to come on. That would be fun.
Yes, please do. Please
do.
Monday we got Hamilton, Ontario. Hope to God, because I've booked them 3 dates already, and they've had to reschedule each one. But he says that Monday will be good for him. So Hamilton, Ontario. That's Hammer City Hammers. I don't have anybody on Wednesday the 28th yet, or maybe I do. I just didn't write it down. We got, I guess it's Canada week next week, man. We got Dan Baldwin from Toronto on Thursday that's the 29th. Yeah. I'm
originally Canadian.
What's that?
So worth mentioning, I'm originally Canadian.
Oh, far out, man. Yeah, awesome. Scott Davis, our former Monday night host, is Canadian, and he's down there with the Mile High Hammers in Denver now. So that's awesome. He was at the Vegas event too.
Nice.
Yeah, Now, what else we got going on? Next Sunday at 2-ish p.m. we have a fan from the UK. No one, not a player, not a whoever, just a regular fan from the UK. So that should be interesting. We love changing things up and adding variety so that people don't get sick of watching the same old. But I think it's never the same old because everybody's got different stories. And my favorite part of the show is always finding out how on earth everybody got into West Ham, because it's always different. The kid last night that we had on mentioned he almost sounded embarrassed to say that, West Ham came to him through Green Street Hammers. I mean, there's nothing to be embarrassed. I mean, it doesn't matter how you found out, or how you found West Ham or however West Ham found you. I mean,
it's more amazing that they stick after they watch a few games.
Right? That's the thing, because dude, we talked about it last night. We talked about it a million times, but we haven't had a trophy since 1980. So no one's in this for the glory. I mean, we all are in it for the passion, for the love, we want to see the team do well. We want to be there when the team wins this next trophy, obviously. But look, I mean, if it wasn't for the IT crowd, I never would have even known the first time I ever heard what West Ham was in 2007, watching an episode of IT Crowd. And if you haven't seen that particular episode, watch it, man. I think I forgot the name of the freaking episode, but it was my favorite episode. But they mentioned West Ham, and then thanks to Football Manager, I became literally obsessed with English football.
We lost him.
Really?
We're back. Just for maybe did you guys lose me?
No, maybe it was me. Probably me. So anyway, Football Manager, I became obsessed with English football and West Ham and so on. But anyway, just so you all know, coming up the next few weeks, the original host of this channel, Tim, me, and Lee will be interviewed by our co-hosts to change things up.
Good.
Just so that everybody gets our stories. And we felt that, to add some, variety to the channel, that would be a good idea. So you know who the hell we are. So anyway, I did see someone comment in here something about wanting to join the show. If you ever want to join the show, I really don't give a shit where you live or where you're from, as long as you're a hammer. Message us on some sort of social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can email me, AmericanHammersTV@gmail.com. And I'd love to schedule something with you guys. We usually do Sundays for the UK guests, just because, the time difference and stuff like that. We can't really do an early show during the week because everyone's working over here for the most part. And so if you're from the United States or something like that, we can usually we do interviews Sunday nights, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So there's plenty of spots. So message us.
You won't have to see me ever. You won't have to see me so often if you guys we get more people on there. So
that's not true.
Oh, no, that's fair.
That's not true. We need you, man. You're my Monday night guy. We need you to help interview these people. Yeah. Look at the fun we're having. I mean, shit. All right, we're at 9:00 now. Sorry for all over the place tonight. I think my hat's too tight, but we'll figure that out another night. Let's do a couple Hammers polls real quick.
Let's do it.
So, I got to pull it up first. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a Monday. We gotta just hang in there.
For the record, if you guys ever need somebody to fill in, just shoot me a note. I'm happy to help.
Absolutely, we will. There's been I can't remember how many times I've had to just beg and email random people. That's the other thing. People any of you watching the show, first of all, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to everybody's watching the show. But secondly, if you want to help out, I can't be asking, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 people when I'm, looking for someone. Just if you want to be put on a list of people to ask, when we're down a host for whatever reason, because it happens, I can't be chasing everybody. So please, just if you're interested, message me, please. Thank you. Love you. All right. Now, share screen, blah, 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 Chrome tab, Hammers polls, share. Here we go. So on TalkSport with Alan Brazil and Dean Saunders, the pair were discussing Wilshire and how soon the Hammers would see the best of Jack. Dean said it would take 20 games, and Alan stated it would take 6 games until the midfielder was back on form. Who do you agree with, Alan Brazil or dipshit, dumb Dean Saunders? Could never manage a club because he's just a piece of shit manager. Probably a good player. He was a good player, but probably the worst fucking manager on the face of this earth. Yes, worse than Bilic. Yes,
that's low praise.
So Alan, Dean, or neither? Who do you agree with? Cameron.
I'm going to go with neither and say it's probably somewhere between the two numbers. I think 6 is going to be when he starts finding his tempo and starts actually creating things and creating goals and creating assists and everything, and kind of showing consistently what he started showing us in preseason and everything. I think he started showing it in preseason because we were playing teams that aren't quite at the pace of the Premier League. But once he finds that pace and kind of gets in tempo with it, I think he'll get there. I would say 10, 12 would be my guess.
Gotcha. Yeah. What about you, Ben?
I probably lean, as much as I don't want to agree with this particular person, I would lean more towards the 20. I think it's going to take him a little while to get his sea legs, for lack of a better word. I mean, he's just had so many injury problems, and it's like the guy can't catch a break. And if he can get in 20 games, like, God, I hope he figures it out. You know what I mean? I think just the more time, I think he's just going to get better the more time he can get in. So
I will add a caveat to mine and say 10 to 12 games not in a row, not being injured.
There you go. Yeah. Asterisk.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what everybody seems to be saying in the chat room too, is that will he even see 20 games? So
right.
I think that we will. I think that he will make it this year, especially if he only plays half a game every single game.
True.
He's only getting 45 minutes a match, so since Dean Saunders said 20, I'm gonna have to go with Alan Brazil. I'm going to say 6, man. I got the faith in Wilshire. I had the faith before the season. And listen, one of my freaking predictions has got to go right this year. Seriously. So I'm going to have to say Wilshire, man. 6 games. So Alan Brazil. And the survey says Alan Brazil, 48%. That's crazy.
That's surprising.
And 30% neither, and 21 nitwits to agree with Dean Saunders. So
count me in one of them.
Yeah, I know, man. But it's okay. I'll forgive you. How many years should the club offer 26-year-old Lanzini in his current contract negotiations? 2, 3, 4, or 5? Ben.
I feel like 3, you run into an issue of he gets really good and then he wants to leave. I think 4, he busts his knee in year 2 and then you're stuck with an albatross. So
yeah,
I'd rather have the situation of 3, because then at least he's good. So I would say don't give him more than 3. That's what I would say.
Cameron.
Kind of same lines and everything. Being a little bit more on the conservative end as far as contracts go and everything. And I would say 2 with an option to extend for years.
That's a good one. That's good.
What do you think? I'm gonna say I like 3, just because I don't know, man. I tend to agree with I guess both of you, but mainly Ben. I mean, it's contracts just break my heart, man. Especially when we give people long-term contracts, and I'm going to show you guys why in 1 second. I don't know if you guys remember this one. Where is it? Dun, dun, dun. This, I don't know if you guys remember this at all, but in February of 2015, James Tompkins signed a 5-year contract that would have seen him through 2020. Yeah, and
Was that Big Sam or no?
yeah, that was Big Sam. Big Sam, that was that era. But fuckface decided to get rid of him, and yeah, and look, we you know, I mean, yes, he's got a groin injury and he hasn't played a single match this season yet, but I just thought we'd leave it right there, and I'm going to leave this on the screen because this breaks my heart, man. We could have had him, and we could have used him a lot of times, man. He's that defender that son of a bitch, man. He could have been instead of Ogbonna with the captain's band this weekend. We could have had Tompkins in tenure and leadership and just homegrown boy, like son of a bitch. Anyway, never heard of him. Never heard of him. Yeah. So anyway, but my point was, besides that whole, you know, I gotta, you know, talk about Tompkins every episode. Besides that, that's what scares me with long-term deals, is that we never see them through. Never. Not long-term, anything more than like 4 or 5 years. I don't think we rarely, with the exception of Noble, obviously, who is an exception. We never see them through. I mean, Reed's going to be fucking gone before you know it too. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man.
Noble for Prime Minister.
Yeah, it's been moving that hashtag too.
Oh man.
You know what Wally says right there? Could be a right back too. Yes, he could play right back as well. I think he doesn't even have a groin injury, just so you guys know. He's just not happy with Palace, and he wants to come home. So let's get him in January. Let's bring him home. Bring him home.
Don't get your hopes up, man. You're just gonna come crashing back down.
I know. American dream. All right, so listen, guys, I had a blast tonight. I hope you guys had fun too. I know I was all over the place. So I do apologize, but I think that these news items and then the Hammers polls definitely make for an interesting evening, and also we get that chat room going on strong as always. And I really appreciate every single one of you who tuned in tonight. Yeah, and this is a good point. Contracts are barely worth the paper they're written on these days. And that is true. That's wise words from Charlie from Hammer's Chat.
Mic drop.
So anyway, guys and girls in the chat room, Gina was in there too from Denver. Keeping an eye on her Ben, and PJ from Kansas City. So thank you so much. And listen, Cam, anytime you want to come back on, absolutely, just stay in touch with me, and I will. I'll reach out to you from time to time, and I will. And when we need someone, I'll make sure I do. So
come on.
You'll be like, who are you? I don't know. I'm busy. But anyway, everybody have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night with our Fantasy Premier League show. We have Alex from Mississippi Hammers, and Cody will be joining him once again. They hit it off last week, and they had a great episode with Dave Sperry. But I guess it's just going to be Cody and Alex tomorrow night with their Fantasy Premier League show. It's heading into week 3, a lot to talk about, a lot of movement in the table in our Fantasy Premier League with 199 people in our league, which is fantastic. So thanks to Alex for that, because he hustled his butt off to try to get people into our league. And then Wednesday and Thursday, yes, we have shows. We were double booked on Wednesday, and then Thursday we have the show, and then Friday we'll take a night off, relax. So come on, you irons. I'll talk to you guys off the air, but come on, you irons.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, and Mr. Coke, please, Mr. Pibb, sponsor me. And if anybody has Pibb, please send me cans. Please, I love Pibb. Thanks.